bet you can hear me now, right? Can you hear me now? Am I running into a bunch of bad microphones, man? I have a microphone. All right, so I'm gonna do one little test, and you tell me if you can still hear me after I do this. So forget that away. Oh, through Joey. Hey, so let me go ahead and get into this because I want to get back and watch the Monday night football game that you guys and girls may have been watching as well. But let's go ahead and talk about this CJ Anderson thing. So this is a interactive conversation, right? So I want you all to talk as much as possible, and I'm going to talk back to you. Probably do this for about 20 minutes. I don't know what time it is. My computer's acting up to tell me what time it is, but we'll talk about 20 minutes and go from there. So today, the Carolina Panthers announced that they have waived CJ Anderson. And when that news broke, I must confess, I was pretty happy that they waived CJ Anderson. And the reason that I'm happy that they waived CJ Anderson is because they weren't using the guy at all. And I feel sorry for some guys that make the team and then they're like, excuse me, it's all held hostage. You're on the team, but you ain't playing. Can't go nowhere else, and of course you want to play. And I don't know how good CJ Anderson can be, but I know when they got him, he was excited to be here. I know we all remember him wearing the sweat bags and stuff down in Spartanburg because he was still going through his normal routine. The guy just had 1,000 yards last year, and they weren't playing him. And then early on, it just seemed like you could at least use this guy to give Christian McCaffrey a break. I'm not saying bench Christian McCaffrey. I'm not saying take a whole lot away from him, but I feel like CJ definitely had a potential role for this team. If not even, let's see how well he does when it's short yardage and everybody knows you're going to run. You're going to run. And CJ has been fine. I'm sorry, Christian McCaffrey has been fine with his tough running, but I would definitely like to see a bigger back like CJ Anderson try to get those 2 yards over Christian McCaffrey, especially since they're not having Cam do that a lot. So, the Panthers sent out a release today about yeah, it could have been and I'm gonna get on that. Let me make a little note so I can come back to that. I'm gonna come back to your statement, and I think I just missed one, but they never used C.J. Anderson that much at all, and to have somebody that talented that just came off of that kind of season, you feel like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So in a release from the Carolina Panthers today, they said they also released him right now so that they could have a chance. I mean, not this wasn't a release from the Panthers. It was a writer from the Panthers, but it gives C.J. Anderson a chance to get picked up by another team before it's too late for that to happen. So I do say kudos to that. What's up, Pat Coltrane? That they released him, giving him a chance to get with another team. And then let's go for why did this just now happen? Well, I think C.J. Anderson did have did have some input in this. Not saying that he demanded it, but maybe after that loss in Pittsburgh, right? You have won a Super Bowl. You have just come off 1,000-yard season, and you want to win. I mean, everybody that plays football wants to win, and then you just get like beat down Thursday, and it's like, okay, I'm not getting paid that much money. I'm on this team, and not getting many snaps. I don't want to be part of no more games like this where I'm competitive. I want to win, and you're not even going to let me get in a game to try to help out this team. So if y'all not going to play me, can you let me go? So I feel like that might have been it. You know, we don't know for sure. We may never know. But I feel like CJ did have some requests in this trade. And then, so let's go about the rumors or other type of things. I think someone, you may be watching if you did say this, someone could have said that CJ, was he a problem in the locker room? Man, this guy was not a problem in the locker room whatsoever. This guy, every time anybody would ask him about it, he was just like, you know, a pro about it. He'd be like, no, it's you know, whatever the team calls for me, I'm just waiting my turn. He never even like rolled his eyes at anybody, gave you any idea that like, hey, I'm pissed off. He made it clear like, yeah, I would love to play, but he, you know, I'm comfortable with this role. So I can't see it being because of his attitude. And he was a problem on Twitter by that. You know, he did some stuff on Twitter which rattled people's nerves, but Eric Reed talks about things that are much more rattling to people and sensitive to people. He takes a knee every Sunday before the national anthem plays, whether you like it or not. A lot of people don't like it, and it causes a lot of noise. So there's no way on Twitter you're gonna say, well, we're gonna let him go because it's Twitter. And he was fussing on Twitter. I mean, people can be unhappy. So he tweeted about next year playing elsewhere. Let me see if I can quickly find this tweet that you're talking about. So let's go ahead and be interactive. And then I'm gonna finish some more points, and then we're just gonna go ahead and have an interactive conversation. So actually, let me finish my points, and then we'll go ahead and have an interactive conversation for the rest. So let's do that. Some people are upset that when CJ Anderson got released, you know, it's like, what about our depth? What are we gonna do now if Christian McCaffrey gets hurt? So the Panthers did sign, who knows if I'm gonna say his name right, Travaris Cadet to the team. Travaris, and this is kind of interesting because, you know, we've been taking all these Buffalo Bills players. And for once, we kind of took a player from Buffalo. And I think this is where they called and said, hey, we're thinking about this guy. He played for you. What do you think? And I believe, in my opinion, that they took this guy to be a specific backup for Christian McCaffrey because okay, a little background. Yes, he went to App State. This is his seventh season in the NFL. He's played for New Orleans, New England, San Francisco, the Jets, and Buffalo. Now, here's something about his stats. Guy's had 49 carries in his career. 49, not a lot of carries in his 7-year career. But he's had 118 receptions for 959 yards and 7 touchdowns. So it seems like he's a running back that's more of a wide receiver, which goes to further say, I don't think when they made this wave, I think North Turner was saying, I really love Christian McCaffrey. I'm not playing CJ Anderson. I really don't care to try to play him to make him work. And I would much rather have another guy that could back him up and do the same thing that he does without me having to change my game plan so much. And I'll just get this guy. And I still don't think we're going to see much of any of Cameron Artis-Payne, which is a whole another video, because I think what they've been doing with Cameron Artis-Payne is about as crippling to an NFL career as you could do. Because when we had Brenton Burson and everybody didn't like Brenton Burson, he would at least get some snaps. He would at least get some play. But you got Cameron Artis-Payne that's been on, you know, that you drafted and had him for what now, 4 years? And you ain't playing a guy like any. So it's going to hurt him to even go to another team because they haven't even seen any tape on him. But like I said, that's another story. So Travaris Cadet has been signed. He's going to be Christian McCaffrey's backup. And again, I feel like it's because of his versatility. And all right, so that's it. That's all of my monologue. I said this is interactive, so now I'm going to focus on responding to everybody's questions. So thank you for your patience. If you typed your question and I didn't yet talk about it, just type it again. I'm also going to try to scroll up and see what I missed. RP to Cap's career. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough for him. I want the Panthers to keep pounding through the season. They're definitely going to keep pounding. This isn't like a major, it's not going to affect the team much at all. But it's just something to talk about in terms of the moves they're making. Cameron Artis-Payne could help us, but he ain't going to get any play because if North wouldn't play CJ Anderson, which is way more proven than Cameron Artis-Payne, he just released CJ Anderson. Well, not he, but Marty Hurney released CJ Anderson. North Turner's the offensive coordinator. Why is Cameron Artis-Payne going to get a lot of play now? He's not. He might get the 2 carries, 2 snaps that CJ Anderson got. It's not going to be impactful for him right now with the offense that we have. Yeah, CMC, if he gets hurt, it's like I said, they're going to be relying on this new guy, this new Travares guy. I don't know if his last name is pronounced Cadet or if it got some kind of accent over it, but that's who they're going to be relying on. And I'm not excited to rely on something like that from a guy who's just bounced around the NFL as much as he has. Let me see if I can go back and catch some of you guys' comments that I may have missed. Just let the man go. They should have, why weren't they using him, which was the issue. He didn't fit into North Turner's dynamic offense. Fine, I'm not surprised at the move. CJ Anderson. Pat Coltrane is here, so everybody can give Pat Coltrane his shouts out. That screen pass for the T that helped us win the game. CJ is mediocre at best. And that has the Saints playbook. Man, the Saints playbook ain't gonna help us right now. Saints are a beast. All right, so I think I'm caught up with the with everything right now. Can't blame CJ. He's a proven back, and we could have had a Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara set up. He tweeted about next year not playing. All right, so I'm gonna go look up that tweet. Hopefully I'm up to date now. So, dang, I just forgot my thought. I guess I'm gonna go look up this tweet. Oh, here's something that I wanted to say, and I'll definitely want to hear some feedback to this. If you're watching the rebroadcast, look in the comments. Also, if you're watching the rebroadcast, shame on you for not hitting the notifications thing so that you could be notified when I'm doing these live broadcasts, so you could ask questions interactively. So he last played for the Saints. He played for the Saints for 2 years or 3 years, but he last played for the Saints in 2017. So I don't think that he's going to be able to help much because the Saints have just been on a whole different level this year with stuff that they're doing. But since D'Angelo Williams left the Carolina Panthers, we have not been able to use 2 backs the same ever since. And I don't know where that has come from. We still had, oh man, I can't think of our previous offensive coordinator's name, guys. But ever since D'Angelo Williams left, we've not been able to use backs effectively at all. Like, why is that? When he left, we still had Cameron Artis-Payne and some other guys. Nah, not Chud. It was a guy after Chud. Man, I can't think of our previous offensive coordinator. But why is that? Because I got excited when we got CJ Anderson saying, okay, we're gonna do and I'm just forgetting everything. Yeah, Mike Shula was still here, but why was D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart the only time we were able to effectively use 2 backs, and now we've forgotten, like we just don't believe in using 2 backs effectively? That's the strangest thing. But does anybody agree, disagree? Let me know. All right, I'm gonna look up what CJ Anderson said on Twitter. Meanwhile, you all, please feel free to continue to type some messages and we'll have an interactive conversation here. So we can maybe have a 2-headed monster. How are we gonna have a 2-headed monster again? With who? I mean, this offense that they're running now there's no 2-headed monster. When did he do that tweet that you're saying that he talked about wanting to play somewhere else? C-Mac and Cadet? No, I don't see it. Because look, why use another running back as a dynamic receiver when we got Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore? It doesn't make any sense. You don't need it. You could use those guys the same. And maybe I just said an answer to Christian McCaffrey's backup. Maybe Norv Turner's like, yo, Curtis Samuel played running back at Ohio State. He's already a pretty good guy for us. DJ Moore can run the ball as well, doing all these reverses. So about 2 weeks ago, okay, well, I'm not going to easily find that tweet. I might try to Google it, but wish CJ could have stayed a bit more. Yeah. CJ Anderson. Yeah, if you guys can show me, like somebody do a screenshot, email it to me, CJ, because that's charlottevibe.com. Send it to me on Twitter, and I can have a better comment on CJ Anderson's tweet that someone has said could have been a problem for him. I'd like to see it. But that's it. You know, I'll give you guys, I keep saying guys, I need to figure out how to change that. I'll give you all a few minutes to tweet any more questions that you may have, but I appreciate you joining me. Tomorrow we'll be in the locker room, and we'll get to hear more of CJ Anderson was one of the reasons the Panthers lost the Super Bowl. Wish CJ could have stayed. Oh, I read that Ron Rivera said they waived CJ to get a look at Cap. Where did you see that at? I have not heard that at all. And if that was said by Ron Rivera, I would say bull crap. You're not going to see a lot more of Cameron Artis-Payne because CJ Anderson was waived. Panthers talk at 6 is where he said that at. Yeah, that was smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors. I don't see that happen at all. At all. Now, what he could be tricking you to say is we're going to see, because he now has, in the situation that he's in, this may give him a chance to give Cameron Artis-Payne some more reps. So he may have kind of put it into there like that to try to make light of the situation. But no, I ain't buying that. We're going to see Cap as much as we. Yeah, exactly. He's not going to get this guy. It's a possibility just because of what just happened, but it ain't going to happen. I promise you it won't. Yeah, we'll get a chance to talk to Ron Rivera tomorrow. And honestly, unless you can give me a really good question to ask Ron Rivera, I'm not going to ask him anything about this wave because you're not going to get anything more than it was a decision that we made because he wasn't getting a lot of snaps. And I guess you already kind of said it there. We're going to have a chance to look at Cameron Artis-Payne some more. No, I don't think we're going to get it. I'm sure some people will try to get him say, did CJ Anderson say that he wanted to be traded? And Ron Rivera said, I'm not aware of it. Those talks are handled with somebody else. So not that he should be saying anything else. I'm just saying that's what he's going to say. On to the Lions. We better win that game or I'm going to be pissed. We're going to... Why Eric Washington still has a job. Man, okay. So about Eric Washington. Here's what I'm going to say. It's his first year being a defensive coordinator. You could want him to be perfect, but he's not going to be perfect his first year. There's also a lot of other new parts that are under him as a defensive coordinator. He has a lot of coaches that are also new and in their first year as well. And thirdly, this is the third defensive coordinator in 3 years. At some point, you could say, and you could expect, and you should feel that it's not unrealistic to have a little wavering because whatever might have been that strong focus from guy number 1, you lose a little bit with guy number 2, you lose a little bit with guy number 3, and it just might take a minute for everything to fully click as a whole, as a team, as a unit. But he's as Ron Rivera said, this crap does happen. You never want to be on the team that happens to, but it can happen. I'm not saying that he's doing, we gave up 71 points in 2 games, way too much. Yeah, but it's still, how about your first week on the job, your first year on the job? You might have had a point where you had a couple bad weeks at work. There's nothing to judge you on as a whole for your, you shouldn't be here. I'm sure they're not just saying, hey, it's okay. I'm sure behind closed doors, they're having some conversations like, hey, this isn't good, but it's not to the point that you say, get out of here. Because then who are you going to bring in? Who's going to have that stability? Cap is a reliable runner. Maybe once he gets toss sweep or play action chemistry with Cam, he can produce. I don't know how good Cameron Artis-Payne is. I know he's had some really good success in preseasons. And I know last year he got a chance to play more when Jonathan Stewart got hurt and he did not excel. As much as I like Cameron Artis-Payne, I don't know how well he could just come in off of basically not playing football all season. Yeah, he has practice, but it's different than a game, and just be dynamic. And I don't feel like he's going to be given that much of a chance. Look at all the stuff that we're doing. It takes a certain type of running back to be in this offense doing those particular things. So I just don't feel that Cameron Artis-Payne I believe he can come in and be effective, but come in and just like make you like, yeah, I don't see it happen. Do you think Ron will step in with play? Being as if all the coaches are new and the defense is not performing well? No, not at all. Can he be a head coach and a defense coordinator at the same time? I think Ron Rivera changing his role significantly is just not even close to happening. This defense has had some pretty good points. It's not like they've had no idea from their head to their butt, When the defense play calling is soft, they're giving up points and lots of it. No doubt. No doubt there's been problems. No doubt there's been problems. But you got to give a guy a chance to fix it. You got to give the team a chance to fix it. And I don't think you wait until midway in the season to change your defensive coordinator for a team that is 6-3. I would much rather figure out a way to make it work, especially year number 1, with a 6-3 team that is in playoff contention, to just continue to work and get it together. As a head coach, isn't he needed to give them at the very least guidance? Absolutely. He could be effective but not dynamic. CMC, Samuel, and more dynamic players. Artis-Payne, not dynamic. Yeah, we could easily be 4 or 5. Yeah, but I mean, we could have easily won a Super Bowl 2 years ago. Just go to deal with what it is, not what it could be. In terms of the past, we are 6-3. All right, 2 more minutes, and I'm going to round up again. Appreciate everybody that stays on watching. I appreciate everybody that has channeled in. Yeah, hopefully 6-3. And I'm going to go eat some dinner. I do work for you all. I do want to be the best media that is a resource, that is a tool for fans. So if you're watching this and you come up with a great question for me to ask Ron Rivera tomorrow, I can assure you I will ask it if I feel like it'll be hard for him to get out of it. But if it's just, why are we losing? Why did you make this? Those I'm sure are already going to be asked, and I'll just report on what he says. Meanwhile, sure thing, Anthony Logan. Again, I appreciate everybody that tunes in. People do stop and say hello, so if you do ever see me out, please don't hesitate to stop and speak. Now, whether we talk for a minute or 10 minutes, this depends on the situation. So I thank everybody for being respectful of that, as they have caught me. Joey, have me back on your show. I'd appreciate it. Doesn't help, we're going to get this cold rain all week. Gotta have outside practice. Hey, how about David Tepper saying that we're going to have some changes to practicing indoors next year? But on that note, thank you all. Have a good night. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Joey. Thank you, Shaq. And anybody else that I didn't get a chance to say thank you. Thank you, Pat Coltrane. And good night. And I'm going to have a microphone working next time. I like mics, and this now needs to go into the trash.